Low confidence looking at MES because again, right now we're just in very uncertain conditions. If we look at the daily, we never got that bullish reversal set up. We are coming back to the top of the range. We had a lot of buying, so I kind of don't want to step in front of it. Same thing with the 4 hour. We didn't put in a proper lower low double bottom. Um, so I don't really want to take that. And then even with looking for a continuation move as we come back into here, I don't want to take it. And then with as much uncertainty as we're seeing with the tariffs and all of that, I just don't think that this will just start trending back up automatically. I mean, when we're talking about the companies that are involved in the S&P being affected by the tariffs and being at the mercy of possibly having to move their entire supply chain and all of that to the states, yeah, they want a little bit more certainty now. A 90-day pause came out for everybody except for China, so that could be a positive catalyst for the market as far as moving it up. You feel me? There's a little bit more relief on these companies, so a little bit of certainty can come back. But yeah, other than that, I'd be looking to just short up here. And again, I don't want to short back below this level and then be selling right into this area where these buyers could step in. I'd rather just not do that. Right, massive fair value gap here, selling straight into that when I could be buying here for a continuation move higher. I just don't really I can't find enough conviction for a long. So I'm probably just look at gold, which is a little bit more clear. Because at least with gold, we already had our 4 hour liquidity grab pattern, right? When we failed to push lower here. This is the high. We broke above it. We retested it. It's holding above. And now we're moving higher. And then we got a little 1 hour demand here on gold, which is the same thing pretty much because we had a low, a lower low. And then here was the high we broke above. So we're just looking for these highs to get retested and hold up. Yeah, we're looking for price to come back down into here. Here we're gonna want to see, I guess we're gonna want to see like a 15 or 30-minute shift, because if this wicks higher like this, and then breaks and actually closes below, that's gonna be short-term bearish for the 1 hour, unless it's something like this, right, where it comes up, breaks below, but it was just a trap and moves higher. So that's what we'd be looking for a shift back. And then that's just simple trend following, seeing if the trend stays intact. And then here is just a simple demand zone. So simple demand play, incorporating that liquidity pattern with that entry as well as our a supply and demand zone there. So there's a play where we already got some confluence versus trying to figure out something for MES. You feel me? So that's that. And then this play, let's see what this play will be for us. Yeah, we can set a nice within our risk here, decent trade within our risk. Based on the zone, even if we got in and based it on the zone, we're gonna have to base it on the pattern. But even if we got it and base it on the zone, we'll be decent. So that's what we're looking for. Quick little 1 hour demand play. Hopefully we see something like that where it's a little trap. Right, it's a little trap into there. And then yeah, that gives me a bit more conviction with gold if these are done being correlated. Because gold's pushing past where we thought the range was. Well, no, actually, they both at the same. They both looking at the same thing right now. Cause here's another range, and it's back at the top. Yeah, fuck. Another range is back at the top. ES doesn't give me those confluences though. I'm not seeing any demand or anything on ES. It's just this area right here where it could break down, and then it's just a breaker block below. Breaker below. Other than that, I don't see nothing that's supporting ES holding up like gold. At least I see some confluence on gold there. So yeah, this is just the same thing except regular trend continuation, right? When you break above a high, you want to see those highs retested. You want to see those lows, the lows of that swing protected. When you come into those highs, you want to see the swing low protected. That's all it is. And we had lows, higher lows, higher lows. Seeing those higher lows stay protected. That's it. We already came into those areas and retested it. Already broke above those areas. Broke above them, retested them. Oh damn, this could break down on the 4 hour though. So yeah, it can't close. Definitely can't close there on the 4 hour. If it closes through that, you're kind of cooked. Yeah, there's liquidity resting above here though. So I don't know. From those original shorts. Yeah, from those original shorts. Damn, I really don't want to second guess this here. This could easily be a range. And that would be a clean sell there at the top. Clean sell. If it breaks back below this pivot, breaks through, retest, runs all the way back down to the bottom, that'd be nice. It's just a matter of why are we getting a fake out right now? A fake breakout makes it much more likely to snap back in and follow through. But we could see it snap in and hold up down here. No volume. I don't know how people trade this shit. Yeah, low, lower low. Broke above that John. I didn't retest perfectly. Yeah, it's the same thing. If I was trying to short this, I wouldn't want to short. I would want to see all of these things break first. I wouldn't even short it. Especially not when the entry's down here. I wouldn't even do that. Yeah, as far as ES, I've got nothing for ES. Yeah, ES is different because it's a clear downtrend, so this would just be continuation play. If it breaks back below there and holds under, then that's a different story. But as far as just watching this pivot break, I don't know. Gold's weakening. And then it would be even more ideal if this doesn't even retest. Like if this breaks and just goes down, that'll be better. Because if we buy here, we can buy, and then they have to risk their retest and risk getting stopped out, moving higher. And same thing with here. More sellers will have to hop in front and start selling as prices coming back up. And there could have been a setup here, low, low, higher, low. And we didn't push into it, but like, come on, bro. We're failing to break below pre-market lows. Get this bullshit out of here, bro. I don't want to see anything else at that point. That's simple shit, bro. Simple. Failing to break up. Like, are you serious, dog? Like, I gotta close the charts after that one. Seeing that is a no go. Literally, seeing that is a no go. Like, it doesn't. That's the biggest fucking red flag ever. When this could have just broke down below and tapped into our entry, right? Happened at maybe 10:30, 10:40, and we still got a trade window on the table. And go, but instead it does this. So there's nothing I can fucking do with that, bro. ES is breaking down. ES got their break below. Yeah, that shit's fucking stupid, bro. Like, even if it's about the range, it's at the top of the range. At least break down and you feel me? I don't know what this is. This shit just oscillating, right? Whatever. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I guess I'm just gonna close the charts. My alert goes off, then the alert goes off. We'll have to come back and reassess if everything still looks decent. It's absolutely bullshit, but so I missed this trade on ES. So we were saying if we go to the 1 hour, break below this pivot and retest was a possible setup, falling back into that range. Right after pushing up and retesting into that key level, that's what we was looking for, a continuation. We were nervous seeing price come back into this level though. Maybe it wanted to push back into this level and buyers could step back in. Although taking that setup, we could have took that setup and got out before we got here, and this was the possible setup. Low, lower, low, high, break at a high, which created the high, higher high, break at a low, break at a low there, retest within our risk, less than 50 points. Retest is there, continuation, got room down to exactly the target before we'd want to be out of that position. So missed that trade. I honestly didn't even look for it. I mean, we got the retest here. We got the retest for the full 5-minute setup already. Oh no, the retest, yeah, the retest was that 5-minute setup, and then the entry was it failing. So I could have just paid it to, looked out for the retest once we got below that level. But I like the gold setup better. Because yeah, if the correlation was breaking, then I wanted to see a pullback into this area, and then if the correlation between gold and ES finally broke like it did now, we could get a move up higher. Still just uncertainty, kind of hard to form that bias with just kind of hard to form that bias with so much uncertainty in news, because you would think, okay, the tariffs being lifted everywhere except for China is kind of a bullish catalyst for gold, because you got other people who are now comfortable again. And the same thing for MES. We buy a lot from them, so tariffs lifting is cool, but it's still a trade war with China where we get a lot from them, so that's still bad for some American companies, but still not as bad considering the fact that they can move somewhere else or do a loophole, like where they're sending, all right, boom, let's make it in China, send it here, and then send it to the US. So it doesn't seem like it would be that terrible, that it's not terrible. But yeah, that's just high time frame continuation. And again, we didn't see any real switch on ES. You feel me? No real trend shift back on ES. So we'll see, especially at this level. If we break back down, that may be an opportunity for us to get, okay, another break and retest of this, right? If we get under here now, we get a break, a retest of it, and then maybe move lower. But I'm not sure. Yeah, this would have been the best optimal trade here. Best price position and best trade. Clean little drawdown. Kind of upset about that. Yeah, running for all-time highs right now. Yeah, targeting the liquidity that which would have had our trade based off of. So that sucks. And still on low volume. So, man, how do you have an all-time high break on such low volume? Had higher volume back here. So yeah, disappointing. Ran 100 points. Disappointing, I will say. I'll be honest. Most important thing is to not have FOMO. You know, just getting rid of. I had that. I let that thought flow. Yeah, that's disappointing to see. But it's more important to stay regulated and not and to not force those trading emotions and take those trading emotions into the next trade. It's that simple, really. Can't force anything from the market. There's going to be more opportunity, right? So as long as you stay level and continue to wait for the things that you'd like to see to execute, you'll be good. But yeah, here we got a downtrend. No shift back, not even on a 4 hour to weekly. Yeah, weekly bearish. We had a break below that level that we're looking to retest. Monthly after breaking below this pivot is bearish, retest it. Looking for continuation. We got some levels that we want to push. Possible liquidity resting down here. Bunch of confluence zones that we want to look to target. So FOMC is out the way. Nothing that could, nothing obvious that could make us range. So that, yeah, I'm more seeing gold run sucks, right? But I'm more disappointed about us missing this setup. Um, yeah, I'm more disappointed about us missing this setup there. Yeah, even if we're going from range top to range bottom, there's a lot of space down. Oh, because that's ES. Now for the higher time frame, it's good because on the higher time frame, okay, now we're back under the 200. All the short terms are flipping back. Right under here is where a trend could start, a downtrend could start. I'm on a 15. Yeah, this was kind of catching like the beginning of a downtrend with proper, really could have caught it up here on pre-market. Had a higher high, broke below that low, came back, retested that, and that initiated it. And then we're getting, same thing, respecting, pivot, staying intact, not getting ran, moving down. So hopefully that's not a short term downtrend, and that'll be determined by if what happens here. What happens here, and then again we got a swing high here, so we could put in, have a bounce here, come up, right? As long as this swing high stays intact, we're cool. Have another move lower, right? And then that's when we want to look for that pullback to create another swing high that stays intact to head lower. So I don't really want to say chasing the move. Yeah, of course, the best price positioning was here, but we can still get some bearish continuation. You can still get some bearish continuation. It's crazy the swings that we're having in the market though. Like yeah, even today, another 4%, down another 4%. Yeah, the first short was just a little bit of liquidity. Right, we knew it was possible to see that more respected support and resistance get tested. Then of course we got news. The news doesn't do anything but help price get to those areas that it wants to go to anyway. So news gave us that push up back into that key area. Cool. Newly established downtrend. We just want to catch a small piece of this newly established downtrend. That's all we're looking to do. There's people in long here with stops below here and here. Because this is a legitimate setup, so there's people with stops down there. Now, when you get a break below support here, it's usually, you feel me, like a swing high like this above. So you know, like, where to set risk at for the higher time frame. Like, okay, break down below here, stop above the swing, swing high. When it happens down here, you don't really know, like, you feel me, the stop will have to be where it's at, because that's the only swing high, especially on those other time frames. You feel me? It's just shredding down right now. The only place to, the only area to place a stop would be when you start retesting. Then you'll know. So when you retest, when price starts pushing back up, then at that point it's no longer looking for a breakdown. You're just looking at short pops because you want to see a pop back into the resistance that fails. Now keep in mind there was no shift to bullish on the 4 hour really. I mean, yeah, there was a pivot, but there was no real shift. I mean, yeah, it took out this pivot, but there was no real shift on the 4 hour for us to look at it. And even breaking above this pivot on the higher time frame, that could have been a 4 hour trap. So it's possible to see a very large move now, because a 4 hour trap is trapping a lot of participants, a lot of higher time frame participants. That's big money there on the 4 hour. And a lot of traders who will be chasing the up move there because they're seeing that 4 hour switch. So the context of the daily it's still very bearish despite seeing what happened on the 4 hour. And then we will be extremely late to the party, seeing waiting for the 4 hour to invalidate these lows. So that's why we go off of midterm, in this case, a midterm time frame, such as the 1 hour, to see that structure is changing. And that structure is indeed changing. So yeah, knowing there's liquidity down there, playing this level back into this, under this support, need a break, then would like to see him create some type of structure for a continuation. Literally the only concern is the lack of higher time frame structure. Like I said, at least we got this little bounce here that gave us the break of those lows and the break of the down candle. So yeah, that's the level we're looking to play now. And if everything's trending as it should be, then we shouldn't be looking to go back up into these levels at all. On the 15, that'd be nice to get back below there, back trending under the moving averages. The 30, we're trying to get under that. 200, the higher time frames were under it. The high time frames were under it. And those moving averages are just small levels. That's just small confluence. You know, we're not too heavy on those. I'll set our alert because this could take forever to set up. We do want to see a strong break through this to make sure that there's not people that are stepping up buying there. So we do want to see a strong break, and then that retest will really give us the information we need. There's a lot of downside potential riding back to the bottom of that range. With that liquidity resting down there, potential for a large move. Right, and then we got a very, very longer time frame target back on ES. Oh shit, I can make them bigger too? No way. So yeah, I just need some charts for context. And some charts I can make bigger. Nice. Yeah, overall, larger target down here, waiting for that weekly bounce of the 200. So, potential for a large move. Now that's when the greed sets in there. That was a greedy thought I had there. Seeing that home run, knowing that we're in drawdown now in the challenge account, and knowing there's potential for a home run, is got to be careful with something like that. Got to be careful with something like that. Now, worst case scenario, you know, to slightly give into that greed and follow our rules, we can set an alert at 1-to-1 and trail it. And see if this thing really starts selling off. Volumes finally started picking up on something like the 5 minute for the downside move. Um, that's the 5 minute though. That's probably the best thing we can do is try to trail it, set a alert for 1-to-1, move price to break even, and then try to trail it. We'll try to figure that out once we get there though. Oh shit. Getting a stronger break there. Finally got a rest on the 5 minute. Yeah, so that would be nice if this 1 hour closes strongly bearish like that. And then on the 5 minute, if it tries to do something and give us a setup. kind of skewing the setup. Let's see. Yeah, fuck. Why are they doing this to me? Like literally, why the fuck are they doing this to me? So yeah, if it rolls over there, there's nothing I can do. Yeah, that shit just skewed the setup crazy. I hate having these risk limits, but that's really how it would be in real life. So fuck, bro. Yeah, even on the 1 minute trying to skew it, I can't get it. Yeah, it's really hard to not just go ahead and hop in here. It's really hard to trust the 1 minute trend shifts. I'm not gonna lie. breaking rules here. I think I might take profit and wait for a retest here. If this hits first TP here, I'll just get out. I'll just get out. I'm gonna wait for the 5-minute setup. I'll take that as a good trade, but I did not follow my rules there. I'll take. That's not a good fucking trade, bro. That's exactly what happens when you don't follow your rules. I'll take this though. I'll take this. I'll secure that entry and take this same trade based on that one we just took there and following this the proper entry. Come on, baby, give us the entry. Give us the entry. Come on. Way too much emotion involved right now. Where can we go? Down to the bottom of the range. Yeah, I don't like how I broke the rules there based on a 5-minute setup. You know, I took this. Had to do what I had to do there to make that trade work, but I don't feel comfortable trading that 1 minute. But that's very clean. These are the cleanest setups you can get. It's seeing this being the highest candle, put in a nice low that's lower than this candle, impulse candle, an impulse up right into the support, wicking above the support, showing that price stays below it, but we did test the level, and then breaking down and retesting it, no drawdown, and moving down. That's as clean as a setup as you can get. But knowing that the 5-minute was going to break and then retest, I didn't want to risk that going against me. I didn't want to risk any drawdown or any return to my entry there on the 1 minute with my risk not properly set like that above these 5-minute highs. I didn't want to risk that at all. So I let the 5-minute move low and put in the low. And now we can get in here on the retest for continuation to the downside because I did not properly follow my rules. And then with that, we'll take that money that we just made there on not following our rules. We're going to pretend like we don't even have it. So we're going to add that risk to this trade here. so that we can trade this proper setup. This has the chance to run with volatility being so high and news selling off like this. First TP is here at the lows. Yeah, we are 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 candles down. I think we can run those lows. I'm not. See, this target lining up with those lows is perfect. But it's very possible for us to head down, continuing to head lower. Now, we're going to let that 1-to-1 hit, since there is a possibility for us to get back down to the bottom of this range. Just following the trend, there's no reason to think differently that this trend isn't staying intact. There's no reason for us to think differently that this trend isn't staying intact. So yeah, we got, I mean, a long-term target. Remember, emotions are so high right now. Long-term targets are valid here. These long-term targets are super intact. Resting liquidity on the 4-hour. And if we go to ES, we have key levels below that price may want to retest. Maybe going without us here. Can't be mad at it. I do need that to come back though, because it could run without us. That would suck. Not gonna lie. Volatility is so high it could wick us in at any time. But yeah, I need to regulate. I need to get back to normal. I'm gonna meditate for a second. One thing I know is trying to meditate. You could tell how tense and on edge I was. All right, we're in. As soon as I exhaled, we got tagged in. $24. I'm a little bit above. I'm a little bit below. Over here. Again, not being afraid of that drawdown because it is volatile, so can't expect it to just tag in and tag in. But we got to set up. Everything looks good. We got lows that we can break and continue to trend lower. Putting in another. If this rolls around and breaks this, putting in another lower high. Then we can target these lows. Damn, that was very interesting. There's a lot more physiological effects than you think. Definitely a lot more physiological effects than you think. Before, the only thing I knew was armpit sweating. But now, just then, trying to calm your mind, trying to bring it, ground yourself and come to something that's present, you realize how much is going on once you actually try. But this is why I got out of the trade earlier, because it came back to retest that 1 minute entry, and I was like, getting under that 1 minute, my emotions are gonna be crazy if I'm trying to manage. If I'm trying to manage based on that, it's gonna be insane. Pushing more than I thought it would. I don't think there was any switch on the higher time frame, so not expecting this to really hold up. But it is still going up. Rejecting off a key level, continuation play. Looking at ES, zooming out. Guess we can look at MES. That showed a 5-minute setup. Off of a major key level. Rejected from weekly resistance. I'd be very surprised if this is the area for the bulls to have stepped in with no signs of bulls stepping in on a higher time frame, but we're ready to accept any outcome because we executed as we should. So crazy now that I'm in my setup, and I know that I followed all the rules here on this trade. Of course, not the first one, but on this one, I know I followed all my rules. I know I'm in my setup. I know conditions and context are in my favor. I feel a lot better now. I feel a lot better now. I'm a lot more calm. All right, yes, we're sitting in some drawdown. We can allow the trade to work. But yeah, that's an emotional roller coaster for you. Haven't, you know, felt like that in a while. Been pretty process oriented. Um, Trying to follow plans and stuff. So I haven't been in a situation like that where it was just sheer panic. 'Again, I'd be very surprised um, if this fails, but it is what it is. Everything is aligned for this to work out for now, and the market is really gonna, if the market stops me out, it's definitely gonna prove that something's changed and something is changing. But yeah, regardless of the outcome, I can accept, yeah, this was a win. This trade was a win in regards to consistently executing our setup. One hour pin bar there. 4 hour has 25 minutes. Yep, only negative here is what this 4 hour wants to do. If it's going to close back above this high here and show that price wants to be bullish, or price wants to range, or price wants to retest up here, then yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is that for it being at the mercy of that 4 hour close. If I move this window, will it keep recording? Yeah. Hoping we see a flip down to the downside here in this next candle forming, but we can't control what's going on. Definitely appears that bulls are trying. Good music. Where's the volume mixer? Volume's decreasing on this push up, so I don't know if that's any sign, but yeah, this is going against us a lot. It's going against us a lot. I'm stressed the fuck out watching this. That's why I don't watch it. That's why I set and forget. Lots of volume coming in now towards the downside. That's why it's called price action and not just candlestick patterns, because you get to watch these candles develop and kind of see order flow with each tick. Like who's trying, who's being rewarded, who's not being rewarded, who's putting in effort, even without level 2. Even without level 2, you can kind of see it. We really just need to push back down below those 2 candles, because now we're getting a smaller little high low setup there, which is probably the 1 minute trying to shift back. But each candle is making highs. Yeah, I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I'm gonna just pause it and close these windows, and whatever happens is gonna happen, regardless if I watch it or not. I'm gonna play this video game in the meantime, and if that alert triggered, I'll check it. I'll set a timer, maybe. I don't know. This could even go sideways, honestly. Um, it's all good as long as it doesn't stop us out, because this could still just be creating a lower high, right? In the grand scheme of the trend, high creating a lower high here and moving down lower, but this drawdown just sucks to see, and I don't know. It seems like when the price is moving up much more than it's moving down, so even with volume decreasing so much. Damn, it sounds like we got stopped out. Yeah, we got stopped out. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, alright. What can we do? What can we do? Looked like a great setup to me. Yeah, the 15 doesn't even look like a clean setup I would take. And that trades out of our parameters. Understandable. Very understandable. With it being a 4 hour pivot, kind of want to wait for that a break below it on the 4 hour, maybe even a retest on the 4 hour, showing that it was holding below. So I get that. I get that 100%. 100%. I don't know, man. I say it was another good loss here. I mean, yeah, the 4 hour came into has some possible support here, but no true switch back to bullish on the 4 hour. No signs or no reason for this to really hold up. Besides the fact that yeah, it could not closing below in the four, we could retest that and see. And then yeah, even on we broke 5 minute. Yeah, we came and retested on the 1 hour on the time frame that it broke on, and we saw on the lower time frame possible continuation in the direction that we wanted to see, and we took the trade. So nothing really bad that I can say about it. Besides that 4 hour there. Besides that 4 hour. Not closing. If the 4 hour would have closed below 2, that would have been perfect. Then we could take the 1 hour retest, seeing it fail. And then yeah. But the war is so strong because both sides are trying to play around this key level. Nobody has won yet. Right? If this closes back above, then the Bulls have won. And if this closes below, then the Bears have won. So that's on me for not being patient with that.